Melissa. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do the third installment of the stamping, and today it's going to be reverse stamping. Now this is going to be the last video, unless you all want to see a video on how to use these two plates by Maniology. I don't know if y'all have seen them or not, but they're M052 and M319. And what they're designed for is, obviously this is the basic French tip plate where you can create your own French tips. And then this little thing right here, you can do ombres, you can do smudgy cures, you can put several colors in there, and you can do the whole nail in one go. It's a really cool plate. If you don't know how to use it, if you want to see how to use it and you want me to do another video on these two plates, I will. This one also, you can stamp your whole nail polish in one stamp and don't have to paint them. They're dry as you go. You can put a couple coats on if you need to. They're made according to the size of your nail. Also, you can use this one to do ombres, either horizontal or vertical. They're super handy for that. So if you want to see an extra like fourth video on just using these plates on a few little nails, then I will do that. You just have to put it in the comments down below. And also, if you see me with these nails on for a few videos, I am doing a little wear test on the Glamnetic nails, and these have been on since for a week, and they are sturdy. They are not going anywhere. Used the Glamnetic glue that came with them, and according to the ingredients, from what I can see, it looks like they are the equivalent in product that's in them to the Maniology glue that I can see. Anyway, and the Maniology glue is super strong. So this has turned out to be super strong glue as well. Okay, so I thought today we would do a couple, maybe two, maybe one, I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe do a lemon, or I don't know, maybe this little ice cream, or this one, I'm not sure. We'll do one or the other. And that'll show you just, you know, how to go in and paint your image, and what you'll need to do it. And one thing that you need to remember when you're doing reverse stamping is, say you're doing either an animal, or you're doing, say, either these ice creams, and you want to make these flowers pop. Okay, you want to make them really pretty to be on the outside of your nail. So what you don't want to do is try to come in and color in the base color of the nail first, because it will work. You just kind of have to work backwards. Like the same would be for this. You've got to do all the little tiny things. Same with people or animals, eyes, mouth, nose, anything, buttons, anything like that that's on there. You've got to do those first, and then come in with your solid color that's going to be the, you know, the like coating of your ice cream, if that makes sense. Work backwards. So you would come in and like dot all these centers, and then you paint all the petals, and then you can come in and paint over the whole thing. Like if you're going to make it yellow or whatever, you can paint over all these flowers. It doesn't matter, because they're already painted, and it won't show. It'll be fine. So just think of it that way. Is that you just kind of, on some things you do have to do that way. I've got a few brushes out here. These are my oldies but goodies. Let me pull this back again. That I keep around. This one and this one are probably my favorites. You can tell because they start getting really frayed. This one right here has got some frayed bristles, and what I like to do when they start getting like that is I take my nippers and I look at this little thing, get up here in the light, and I start turning it around where I can see that I can slide this in behind it, and then I just come down here and nip it off, and that helps keep you from having the little frayed bristles with paint on them, which is the last thing you want when you're stamping. So anyway, that is just a way to save your brushes a little bit longer. And then I've got some other brushes over here as well. They're super tiny, small, and we might use those. So let's do the little lemon first. And I'm going to use, I'm going to flip it upside down, so I don't want to drag paint all over everything else. I'm going to use the Sticky Stamper Polish by She Modern, because it is a wonderful polish. and why not, right? Why not use that? And I was playing around yesterday, and actually I did a video yesterday, to be quite honest, and it was terrible. My dogs were barking and everything, and so I had actually stamped it the first time like this in white, and it did not show up, and I ended up going back and picking it up at the end in black and going back over it, and it actually worked, but there were so many interruptions and stuff, and I just was like, also it was at a time I've not been feeling good this weekend, so hopefully this video will be done in time. It's Sunday, so I'm doing it, and we're just going to do a couple things. And then just to give you all the gist of stamping. So I'm going to sit these just kind of out of the way over here. And we will, you can see how hard it is to see. It's good for like light and looking through the camera, but for me looking at it, I kind of have to come over this direction where it's not right over that, this, because I know you guys can see it, but for me it's a total glare. I can't see anything with the camera, so I have to move it over here. And I think we both of us, or all of us, can see it from there. So I'm going to get the yellow. I'm going to need a little palette, and obviously I've got my little paw print palette, which is never clean, but every once in a while. I love that. That's in the March gift box, so if you haven't already gotten in on the March box to be entered for it for my birthday month, it is a big old giveaway, so you need to go and do that. The video is on my channel, and it says March giveaway. So you're gonna just start putting out a color, a little dab at a time, because honestly, it dries so fast, and you're gonna need a little bowl with some acetone in it to clean your brush. And I always like to start by doing this. One, it gets all the bristles together nice and neat. So when I go in with the paint, this is a little bit long, but this is also a large area that we're covering in this lemon. So I'm going to get it right over here. I think we all can see, even though I'm way over to the side. And I'm just going to start coming in and filling this in. And like I said, this one is a simple one. We may do the leaves 2 colors of green, just to give them a little bit of dimension to them. And I like, sometimes instead of a real short brush, now sometimes you do need a real short brush, I would rather use a little bit longer one and use the tip of it. So it just is definitely personal preference. Some people use dotting tools to stamp with, and I do on occasion, but normally I will always go for a brush to reverse stamp, unless it's just something so tiny, like maybe I want a perfect circle, and I will get a dotting tool to do that. So it's just kind of like coloring. I mean, it really is. And the main thing just to remember is, like I said, if you have little images that are within the image, to always do those first. Eyes, mouths, noses, if there are one, if there is one. Shoot, if there are one, good grief. And let's see. I'm going to try to get as close to this line. There we go. I can see it better now. I added over the white, so I couldn't see all that well. And I'm going to put this on as heavy as I can, because I want it to show up. And they always try to say do a really, like, not thin, but don't glop it on. Trust me, it doesn't matter. I always glop it on, and it's just fine. It's just fine. I would rather have a little bit more polish that I need than to stamp it and then be able to see through it. That would be a really downer for me. So I think they're just like, don't want you to get the polish too thick, but I really have never had that issue. So you can see this is pretty thick on this lemon, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm going to rinse out my brush. Now I do have a little tiny brush here, that I'm going to show you. I'm going to use it for just this little area right up here at the top. It's like an eyelash. It's that small. It's tiny. And I'm going to use 2 colors of green. I just got a couple different shades here. I've got you guys pulled in pretty close because I want for you guys to be able to see well. And I'm going to put these out at the same time, maybe. No, I'll do them one at a time because everything's drying so fast in here. And I'm trying to, I don't know what I've got. I've got some sort of little bug of some sort. And so I'm chilling and all those things. I definitely wanted to put this out today for you guys. Okay, so I've got a tiny little dot right here. So instead of using a dotting tool, I'm going to come down with the polish and put it inside that tiny little circle right there. There are 3 of them. So I'm going to do these 3. We may just do this one image. I mean, it's, like I said, it's not anything that is really all that difficult. It's just taking your time and realizing, like, where do I want to put this color? Like I said, working backwards. So there are some little tiny areas here. I'm going to use this little tiny brush. And I turn my stamper a lot to accommodate my brush. And just take your time. Now, I find that the She Modern polish or a sticky stamping polish, if you have a Clear Jelly makes one, I know, works best. If you flip it over, you can start to see our little image come to life. They just work better because sometimes regular stamping polish will want to pull up off of the plate itself. And when you go to start stamping in it, like, it could pull up a line. But I found that the She Modern does not nearly as often do that. So that's why I just usually use it. So I'm going to come in again. This has got a little bit more than I want on there. So I'm just going to tap it back down. And again, I am going to turn this around. I was in here getting ready and I heard a crash in the living room. And I went in there and Journey was standing there looking kind of stunned. I think she might have lost her balance on the back of the recliner, which is where that 2 of the dogs, especially Journey and Clara, like to lay on the back of the recliners. So I think she might have taken a tumble. So hopefully she's okay. She seemed like she was just like what happened? I was just laying up there and I fell off. I mean, I think it was her. She was the one that looked like she was a little addled or something. So I tell them all the time, like, get down from there. They don't listen. They don't listen to me. So you can see that ran back down my brush. See how, if you can see on the tip here, how Clara ran back down my brush. And I didn't have any on the tip of it. That comes from tipping my brush back like that. So a lot of times I need to remember. That was my 12-year-old who's got the version of doggy dementia. And with that comes a lot of aggression towards her other dogs. Sisters, not towards people, but thank God, but towards her dog sisters, she is very grumpy. So I just shut the door. It's like, go on and get out. You know, you're henceforth banned. Now, when you start to get like right here and you're up against the screen, it really doesn't matter if you touch it or if you get some green on the other green, because it's already down. Like I was saying, like, if you can paint right over eyes and mouth and nose and buttons and everything, once you've already got those little bits already filled in. So if I went totally over the green, so let me see if I can just do this. I'm gonna just not even care. Look, I'm coming in here and I'm putting it way over top of that other green, but it's only gonna show up this lighter green when I flip it. Look, You can see it just, because that darker green was already down there, it doesn't really matter. So that's one of the good things. You just got one side to watch out for. So like right here, I really need to just watch out for the lemon side, because if I touch over this green, it's already there. Actually, it doesn't matter because I could go over the yellow if I wanted to. It won't matter. So let's just paint this down here to the tip. And there's our little lemon. Let's flip it over. And you can see it looks super cute. And we can do one more, like, easy one. I think that is the way that is best to start out. Let's see if there are any like really little easy ones on here. I'm looking at the plate. All of them have designs in them. We could do this one and do like the little flowers, and then come back in and paint the ice cream. So this might be a little bit longer than I had intended it to be, but just so you guys will get the, like, what I'm talking about when I'm talking about eyes and nose and all that. There we go. I'm letting that other one dry back there, so I'm going to use a new stamper. Clean it off. Oh, I stuck my finger in it. Did not realize. Goodness gracious. That's how with it I am today. All right. Yep. Old Mel is like not with it today. Okay. All right. So let's clean this and move it out of the way so that that'll give us some more room. And let's start with like making a center dot for our flower. And let's use like a pink. And I will find a tiny little, either a dotting tool or the brush. One or the other. Do I have a tiny enough dotting tool? This one's pretty tiny right here. This one's really small. Although you can pick up more polish on it when you're not really meaning to. So I'm going to dot these centers. At least one of them anyway. I got to get over here. Make sure you guys can see and I can see. You're just going to come down and touch it. I mean, one tiny little touch, you can see. Some of them are half ones. I probably will do those with a brush. See, okay, it pulled up that dot. See right here where it pulled it up when I said a minute ago that sometimes you will have a incident where it pulls the polish up. I probably should have let the polish sit just a little bit longer because it did pull it up. Also, the lightest touch possible when you're putting these dots down is what you want. And I'm gonna not push my luck any further. That one has already got a little boo-boo on it. So this is what happens in real life. Reverse stamping. I'm not gonna cover it up. I'm gonna show you all the mistakes I made, like that right there. I'm gonna try to get just on the tip of the brush, the tiniest little amount to go right here. It's not a whole circle, so I probably would have used the brush if I was doing it myself anyway. The dotting tools sometimes get a little bit out of hand, as you can see. If I do the actual brush, how much smaller the dot actually is. And that's the actual size of the dot. These like two up here and this one. And these are bigger than the flower. So let's see. So we need to paint the little stick of the ice cream. Give that a little bit of time to dry before we come in and start putting the petals on there. So this is Latte, the color Latte. It's a good little brown for an ice cream stick. So let's see. I had a little blob on my brush then. So I'm going to turn my brush around, and I think I've got enough polish on here. I can just kind of move it around inside the little stick. There we go. And this is what it looks like so far. So we're working on the inside and coming out. So next thing we've got to do is we have got to get the little petals. So I'm thinking, let's make those petals white. Like a little messed up daisy, I don't know. Different color daisy, I guess. Hey, I swear she opened the door and came back in because I didn't latch it. I may have to go back over there. Look, actually shut her out. Oh my goodness, that dog. So again, we've already painted these. It doesn't matter if you touch the pink. It's okay. You're just going to be concentrating on these little wee flowers here. And bringing it around and getting into each one of these little nooks. You can paint over the whole thing white if you want to. It doesn't matter. Because when we turn it around here in just a minute, you'll see that it's okay. You just got to concentrate on the outside perimeter of your image here. Going around on the outside of the petals. So, okay, so I covered the whole thing up, right? It should look white, but when we flip it, you'll see that that's how big that made that dot. But you can see that it's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. Get over, I can see, and you can see, I think. Work on trying not to go out of the lines. Also, you do need to let each thing dry, each layer dry. I'm like going at it a little bit too quickly, I think. It doesn't take long though for these to dry. I usually kind of give it a little tip over and look. Yeah, I think these weren't quite dry when I started on them. It's okay, this still look cute. That's where I use that dotting tool. There we go. You can see the one where I used the brush that I just did, this one right here, how it looks better. It's because the pink is not so big. The ones that I use the dotting tool on have got way too much pink in them. So the tip of a brush will do you better if you, like these right here, they should look better because the dot is actually the size of the dot in the actual flower, but I did want to show you how to use the dotting tool. But yeah, that was a really small dotting tool, and you can see it still was too big. You can, I mean, you can use the end of like an orange stick or anything like that, small, a needle, some people, but I am always afraid that I'm going to ruin my plate. And my plate is more valuable than, you know, a dotting tool, I guess. So, I mean, not my plate, my stamper, sorry. Ugh. Forgive me for my rambling and stuffy nose and just generalized being out of it today. Okay, so there's our little ice cream, our little flowers that we've done. We do need to let these sit, and then we're going to come in and put a color over top of them. And I'm going to stop it and let them dry, and I'll be right back. So we are dry on this. And so I'm going to come in, I think with this green. I'm going to use a random color here. I'm going to get out a pretty good amount because it's a pretty good little surface that we're going to be covering. And I'm going to use my larger brush like I used on the lemon. So you can see I'm loading it up. And I'm going to come in up here at the top. It's rolling back down my brush, but it's okay because I'm going to really just be paying attention to the outside of the lines like right here. I'm not worrying about the white and the pink. I'm not going to paint completely over it, but you can. It does not matter. You just want to make sure that you get it at least like, you want to touch it because you want to make sure that you've got it covered up. So you see what I'm saying? You could paint over top of it and it wouldn't make a difference. I mean, we can do that. It doesn't matter. It's just the main areas is like around the flower, the exterior. making sure that you get all of those and you don't have any empty gaps, but you can always catch those before you stamp it. When you turn it over and look at it, you can see those. So sometimes I'll just tap it like this, and because like I said, it's no big deal if you touch the white. You just can't go out of the lines over here. I'll slide this way just a little bit. So you can come in, like if you wanted to outline everything first, you could do that. I usually just kind of work my way around. And if I don't have to paint over all of it, a lot of times I don't, especially if it's a pretty good sized thing like this. I'll just make sure I've gotten up against it. And you can see as we're going, it's not messing up our pattern because we've already done those little things and let them dry. So hopefully our paint will hold out. We won't have to get any more. Getting to where I can't hardly see, and I'm gonna have to flip it. I seem to be able to work better like from one side. I guess it's whatever eye dominant you are. I'm right-handed, but I'm left eye dominant, which is totally backwards. So when we would go to the gun range to do target shooting, my husband, when we first started going, was like, what in the world? How are you sighting that? And I was like, I'm just looking at it. He's like, yeah, but you're right-handed. You're looking at it through your left eye. And then when I went through my carry permit class, the guy who taught it, who was a veteran, he said, yep, I'm the same way. He said, it's not a lot of people are that way, but so anyway, so it just, you know, whatever works best for you. I'm coming around to get the last little edge of that ice cream. Look at that. Let's flip it. This is always the most fun part, is flipping it over and seeing what our ice cream looks like. Oh, look how cute it is. Oh, look at the camera. I hope you can see that. There's a terrible glare on it, but I think it's really cute. There it is. So our lemon is dry, and I'm going to cap this polish. I'm going to get our nails over here, and I'm going to show you what I apply just these images like this with, or get them to stick with. Now, Maniology makes a product that this is their sticky base coat. It looks just like their smudge free, except it says sticky base, and I have painted orange on the top. Like I said, I tell you how many times I've picked the wrong one up. So if I see orange, I know it's a sticky base. But you have a very, very like a narrow window of time to get those on there. Like dries in like, or is tacky in like 30 to 45 seconds after you put it on there, and it seems like it just doesn't, I have a hard time hitting that window. And so this, and I'll show you it as soon as I paint this on here. So I'm going to give it time to get tacky, which is just a minute. This is Orly. I love Orly products. This is Orly Bonder, and it's called it's a rubberized base coat. You can actually put it down as a base coat. It helps your nail polish to stay longer, but it's also sticky. So it works wonderfully well on transferring images like that have already been reverse stamped. So as soon as this gets tacky, which we'll do in just a little bit, it doesn't take long at all. I'm over here fanning it off the camera angle here. Nothing like seeing somebody just fanning away. Look, I messed that up when I was painting them. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up. I think this little lemon will look cute on here. I think I'm gonna angle it a little bit. And this is really sticky, this little nail is, so it's gonna pull this off of here. You're just gonna roll it just a tiny bit. Look, so cute. And it'll look even cuter whenever we get the smudge free on there. Now this is our ice cream, and I'm flirting with disaster. It's Molly Hatchet always wanted to make sure that I can get this on here and it not, oh, this is cute. That one's kind of up high, so I'm gonna put this one down low. Little ice cream. you can see there where the dots, where I use a dotting tool versus the brush works a lot better. Just slowly take it off, and there you go. Thick or thin? I would rather have it a little bit thick. It's off to the side. Feels about like I do today, I think. So here we go. Now we're going to come in with a smudge free, and this is kind of what brings them to life, I think. Or I think anyway, because it smooths out all the little wrinkles and things when you transfer it. And then after you use your smudge free, because you do not want to come in with a regular top coat, or it will smear it. And I know that because that has happened to me before I realized there was such a thing as smudge free top coat. So it was a long time ago, and I wasn't stamping, I was doing something else, but it did smear what I was doing. So I realized really quickly I needed a smudge free top coat. So let's take a look at our little creations here today. A little ice cream, a little lemon, and they're just really cute. Not hard to do, but super cute. Just takes a little bit of time, and like when I'm doing my 12 days of Christmas, I'll sit in here for 2 or 3 hours and paint things and have them ready on many different stampers back here, and then that way my videos are not so long when I go to do a mani for the 12 days. So I reverse stamp a bunch of stuff if I have things that have to be reverse stamped, and then I'll usually do one on camera. So, but again, always I prefer the brush because you can see these 3 little dots are right on the money, or 4 right there. The ones I did the dotting tool with are too big, so just the tip of your brush is going to work best, or I think it does anyway. So there you go. That is reverse stamping. And I'm excited for you guys to do it. And if, like I said, if you want to see and one more video with using the French tip plate, and the little rectangle plate that shows how we can show how to use some colors together and stamp from that. And a lot of times you can get 2 nails out of 1 roll. You can use multiple stampers because you've got a lot of polish on there. Let me know and I'll do one of those. But here we go. There they are. I'm gonna swap them because it seems like this one's leaning that way and that one's leaning that way, but oh well. But there they are. Super cute. And thanks guys for even asking for these videos. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate you watching to the end. So thanks so much, and I will see you guys next time. In a few days, I'll be back with another video. Thanks. I love y'all. Mean it.